Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Eric on the Edge Family Homestead channel. Today we're going to talk about how to make homemade marinara sauce from fresh garden tomatoes. Step one in the process, take your tomatoes. You're going to want to remove the skin if you want classic marinara sauce. And we're going to put those in hot water gently, not splash them around like they're crackers. We're not going to do that. We're not going to go hardcore on the tomatoes. So we're going to do that just to the bigger ones. The smaller ones I'm not going to worry about. So we're going to put these in here that have the rougher skin. And of course with the marinara sauce we have fresh picked oregano from the garden and a little bit of basil mixed in with that. A bell pepper and some other peppers from the garden. Banana peppers and I think those are pepperoncino peppers. Forgot what kind of pepper those are, but they're good peppers. We're going to mix those in. This is step one, hot water. Step two, we're going to prepare here shortly, is put ice in the sink. But since we only have one sink available, we're going to strain the tomatoes and then put ice water in the sink. And I'll be back with y'all then. Step two, took the tomatoes out of the boiling water approximately 30 seconds to a minute. You're going to want to look until the skin just starts to do that. See how that skin starting to slide off? It comes right off out of my hand. Look at that. That's what you want right there. So we're going to let these guys cool. Remember, if they come out of that boiling water, they can be pretty hot, so you want to be safe. And another part of my process is zero waste. So I'll take this tomato skin we're not going to use, and I'll take it right over here. Goes in the chicken bucket for later. So we're going to let these guys cool down. Got a little ice on them. And then we'll show you step three. We'll get them cooled down. And once they cool down, that skin will come off just easy. And see, this one here's got a little bit of a bad spot in it. But even then, you can just take that skin and just tear it right there. It'll come right off. And then we'll cut the rest away with a knife later, and I'll show you guys that process. But this right here is probably the most time-consuming part in marinara, spaghetti sauce, and stuff like that. Is getting the skins off and the prep work. The rest of the work is done easy. I'll show you. Alrighty, Roo. We'll be back with you shortly for the third step. Ready, ladies and gentlemen? Step three. Tomatoes out of the boiling water. Went into their ice bath. Now we're going to peel those glorious, wonderful skins off and place them in the blender. Hallelujah. Look at that. Look how easy that's coming off. That's sexy right there. And of course, take our waste and get it to the chickens or the compost so we have zero food waste. I like to do this over the blender when I'm cutting because a lot of the juices tend to seep out of the tomato. So I'll just kind of give them a basic little slice and get them in there. Take this big boy here out, peel that skin off. I don't core the tomatoes or anything like that. Less work the better. I cut off as little as possible. The skins, when you make the marinara sauce, can be a little clumpy. So, and this can get a little bit messy if you core them like this after, because all the juice is going to want to come out on you and the counter and your wife filming and all that. So I'll just split that by hand, kind of clump it up, get it in there. And we're going to repeat this process for all of the tomatoes. Coring, skinning, and putting in your compost bucket or your chicken feed bucket as you go along. Any rough spots like this in the skin, I simply just take out and put in there. Peeling the skin. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Again, I'm going to come around the top of the tomato, take that core out. Avoid squirting seeds everywhere all over the counter. And again, core. And you can peel the skin pretty much as you core. As I'm taking that puppy out, skin rolls right off in my hand. And the rest is good eating. That skin's almost off right there, baby. How about that? Ew, who knew tomatoes were so messy? Alrighty, Roo. Get that puppy out of there. Skin, skin, skin. Look at that coming right off. What you want, Daniel? You want to be on camera, buddy? Huh? You want to be a helper?
Say hi.
You want to be a marinara helper?
Hi. Say hi. Hi.
So you probably be the best part of the video there, buddy. You hear my boring tail talk all day, they might not want to view the video. Yeah. Skinning and getting in the blender. You'll appreciate this by the time the marinara sauce is done, all the work you put into it. Coring, scanning. Now at this phase you can also take the seeds out, but I don't bother with the seeds because this blender does such a wonderful job. And I don't have diverticulitis or anything like that would cause any of us an irritation in eating seeds. But if you have an issue with seeds, we'll do another video on the easiest way I found to remove tomato seeds without squirting it everywhere like a bad Holocaust video like I got going on right now. See, almost as you're coring, the skin comes right off in your hand. And you throw that in your bucket. This one's already skinned. Ooh, look at that juice all over the counter. Woo! Core it. That skin comes right off. I'm going to repeat this process for the rest of the tomatoes. And then for the Juliette's over there on the counter, I'm simply going to dice up and toss in here because those skins really don't show up in the sauce. So I'm not going to stress those. Not even going to bother boiling and cooling those down. I'm just going to dice them and put them in here. Bam. Almost done with the big tomatoes. Get that off of there. Try as little as waste as possible. Toss that in there. Take out that part of that core. Bama llama. Last one of the big tomatoes. Take the core out. Toss it in the bucket. Skin off. Boom. And that is our first batch ready to blend. The first batch ready for the blender. Check this out. When you blend it up, you want to go to your highest setting. I'll start off kind of low. Get it moving. It's pretty well liquefied. It's going to look real soupy. Dark red, light red color. This is going to be our first batch. We're going to take that batch over here to our pot. We're going to go ahead and get it in there. This pot is not heated yet because we're going to get all our batches in there before we start. Retighten the bottom of this blender so we don't leak juice everywhere.
Need more?
And then do the same thing for these other tomatoes. Like find my knife. Set it right. I'll basically take these tomatoes here And if there's anything light green on them, I'll cut that out, but if there's not, I'm just going to toss it in there like it is. You don't have to do this. These little cherry tomatoes can go right in there. I don't bother with stemming them unless it's a little too much green. We try to avoid that for the sweetness of the sauce. And so if they're big like that, maybe you can honk them in half. Blam llama. And so, a little green on that tomato. Slice it. Chunk it in there. It's just that simple. These are vine-ripened Juliet tomatoes. And the bigger ones were the Homesteader tomatoes. Had a good crop this year. They seem to be decently bug resistant, but not the best. Juliet's my hardiest tomato and the heaviest yielding here in Zone 8A, South Carolina. So slice them, throw them in there whole if they're small like that. Cut a little bit of that green out if you don't want it. Chunk that in there. Boom, 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 boom. What? Go charge. We need to charge our camera. We'll be back. I'm going to blend these up, add my peppers, and then when it charges, I'm going to show you guys a cool trick on how to peel oregano. Bye! the fourth part. The marinara sauce is done. It's reduced. And we're going to stir this up without splashing it everywhere and burning ourselves. So it's reduced to more than half its size. Now, for jarring and prepping, saving it for later so you don't have to buy it. Stop living off the grocery freaking store. Take your jar out. Mason jars. I don't care if it's ball or huda hada hita. A mason freaking jar. Boil it to sanitize it, which what I did. And I'm going to set that thing down. I'm going to throw my lids in there real quick to sanitize those. I have washed my hands to as best get most germs off of those. In the handling process, there's white vinegar in the water. Go set our jars down. Stand them up. So those are as clean as humanly possible freaking jars. Alright. We're going to take our marinara sauce. Here we go. Get you a ladle, and no, I don't have a funnel. I don't have a jar grabber like all the fancy dancy hancy pizza. Daniel, do you want to be in the video? Is that why you spoke up? Alright, hold on 1 second, okay? Take that from there, and it's a lot easier and less messier with the funnel. So we're going to pour a lot slower, and you're going to put it in your jar. Daniel, you got any advice for jarring? Am I doing something wrong?
Hey.
Alright, if I'm not doing anything wrong, can me and Mama finish the video? Please? Alrighty-roo, okay. So we're putting our marinara in there. Again, blended tomatoes from the garden, oregano, basil from the garden. Hallelujah! And as Gordon Ramsay would say, it's amazing! What's Gordon Ramsay say, babe? It's raw! But it's not raw. It's not raw at all. It's totally cooked, man. Oops. I'm making quite a mess. A funnel would come in handy. Maybe that's a good birthday gift I need to ask for. Alright, we might do one jar out of this mix, huh? We just might do one jar. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, Lord, getting messy. Oh, yeah. I think we're going to end up with one jar, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? That's better than nothing. And that's a big old jar, too. Woo! I'm barely going to fill up that jar. Holy shenanigans. Man, baby, I got to tighten up on my measurements, huh? Alright. I really didn't even measure. I just said screw it, I'm making it today. Well, this here is going to go in there. On a good day, you'll have a full jar, but that's how we roll around here. We don't be doing full jars and crap like that. This video is educational purposes only. It's child friendly, rated PG-13, non-offensive to all races and religions. What's my wife say about this? I got a grunt out of her. Alright. My wife grunted. Okay. I'll clean out this pot. I'm not wasting nothing. Yeah. Alright, we're going to put that in there. Put this pot in the sink. Get that ready for the rinse. Now, I made a mess with the jar, so we're going to have to clean that. The key with jarring, and I don't care how rookie this video is or whatever, is sanitation. You must clean and sanitize your jars. Now, this is going to be pretty warm, so be careful, as always, when canning or jarring. You can burn the dog piss out of yourself. But if you don't wipe this away from the lid, and you put it in that water bath, it could sit in your cabinet and go bad. So how about take the time, wipe your lids, wipe your rims, take that little extra time to prevent yourself from getting sick later. Because there's a whole lot of bacteria and crap that can develop from stuff like this. So we're going to wipe that. I'm going to save that napkin for my compost pile. I might even do another wipe. I might even wipe this little stuff on the inside of the rim here. Bada bing. Bada bam. Go as safe can leave me. Just make sure it's clean as you can get it. And of course, I've hot water bathed and put a little vinegar in the water with this, so that's good. Now, we take our lids out, which in my case, I didn't prep good enough ahead of time, so I only have enough for one jar. I've sanitized my lids. You don't need to boil those as hard. Just make sure they're as clean as possible. Center your lid. Take your little screw cap thingy down, whatever you want to call it. And put that over your jar. You're not going to want to go Arnold Schwarzenegger tight, but get it pretty tight. Take your jar, and preferably you'll have a jar squeezer or handler to do that, but this is not that warm. And we'll put that in there. Now, my water bather is not that big, so I'm going to have to add water to it. So I'm going to use my sanitized jar, since I didn't have enough, and add water to it, because you want at least 1 inch to a ½ inch above the lid. So I'm going to get some water from over here. ½ inch to 1 inch above the lid, so we'll add till we hit that point. Cue the cheesy background music. No background music. Any questions from my wife Jess, who has never canned marinara sauce? No questions. You have no questions. Do you have anything that you think the viewers would like to ask?
Come on.
No. I mean, you explained everything in the videos.
WWVD. What would viewers do? Did I drop it? What? I'll fix it in a minute. I promise. Alright, here we go. 1 inch to a ½ inch above the lid, which is, I definitely got to get a deeper canner, but you know what? That's going to do the do for today. Well, as that water level just barely gets over there, a hope of a prayer of a prayer of a hope. Thank you. I'll fix it in a minute after the video, okay? Love you. We're going to put that lid back on there. Bring our water to a boil. And since this was pre-cooked, we can water bathe for about 20 minutes. And then set out on the counter and dry. That's good. That's hot ass water. Okay. Bye, y'all. Hope you love the video. Say bye, Dan.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.